Hello and welcome to the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser, joined by Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome again to the program, Heidi. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
She's got her book ready to go with lots of information about the city, and you've been busy, and we'll touch on that in just a little bit about how you've been getting around to commissions and different departments.
Yep.
We've got a council meeting to talk about that has some agenda items in it that will be of note. But first, let's talk about some things new around town. And for those that ride the bus, there's a new way to ride the bus in Maple Grove. It started in mid-January. Tell us about the suburb-to-suburb service.
Yeah, so this is a new service. It's kind of a demonstration project that's funded by the state, and what it is it's intended to connect kind of with where people live to the different business areas or employment centers up and down the 494, 169, and around the 394 corridor. So you can get all the way from Maple Grove to Shakopee. So there's several stops along the way. They're focused again around where people work and trying to make those connections, because previously if you lived in Maple Grove and you wanted to go to Eden Prairie, you went all the way in and back out, and so it just wasn't real efficient service. So this is something that is being tried by some of the transportation organizations out here, the suburban type entities, and so just really trying to see if this is a service that people will utilize and will help make some of those connections between where people live and where people work. So front page of our website, there's information. It's you can go directly to that website. It's s2s494.com, and you get that information about when, where the bus stops are, what time, fees, all those kinds of things. But we really encourage people to try it. If they live out, in any of those communities and work out in the West Metro, just another option, and hopefully it's something that will get support enough for it to be implemented for the long run.
So clarifying for the residents, does it stop in multiple places then in Maple Grove, or is it just at the transit?
Just at the transit center.
So I would take it then possibly businesses like Boston Scientific or others, have they figured out a process to potentially get some type of a vehicle to the transit center once they get off the bus to get them to the building?
I'm not sure about that kind of thing, how those things are being followed through on, but that certainly is an opportunity. Clearly if there's larger employers, that they might, be able to, support the service in that way.
So it again is in a test mode here,
Yes.
so give it a try. Again, go to the city's website to find out more information about how that is coming together. Let's talk about Hennepin County veterans. They are making some inroads to your community center.
Right.
Why and in what way?
Sure. So the Hennepin County Veterans Service Office is, they're using some space at the community center, and they'll be providing service there 2 days a week. Right now it's set up for Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 8 to 4:30, and you need to call and make an appointment with the Veterans Service Officer, and then you can come in there. And they have access to kind of the full scope of services that veterans might be seeking. And so it's just kind of a nice way to bring that service, to the community where people are living versus, them having to go downtown to access those services or up to Anoka County. And so it's working out. I think it's going to work out really well. They're having a little grand opening program, and people can come and get information, and that's going to be on Wednesday, January 27th at 1 o'clock. There'll be a short program. Some of the local officials will be there talking about the service, but we'll have information on our website about that, as well as the community center. And so if you're out there in the community and you're a veteran and you're looking to access services, this is a great way to do it in your own community.
Yeah, fantastic, bringing it right to where people might live.
Right.
Let's talk about the police department a little bit. They have been busy in a couple ways reaching out to the younger folks in the community.
Yep.
Number one way is through DARE. Tell us a little bit about a DARE graduation. You had a chance to attend one here in Maple Grove.
I did. So over the last few weeks, they've had 4 DARE graduations at at 4 different elementary school sites in Maple Grove, and I think about 400 kids graduated through the program. Yeah, and so this was just a great opportunity for, I was able to see the facilities, meet the principal, kind of see how the program's working and how the officers are involved. I think of note, Councilmember Jagger, I think she has not missed a DARE graduation in her 16 years of service on the council. So this is a program that's near and dear to her heart, and it's really great to see the kids excited about this. And they pick about 4 to 5 kids at each one of the graduations and they have to write a little essay about what they learned and how they're going to apply it in their lives and how they're carrying this forward. And they pick a few of them that kind of wrote the best essay, and they get up and they read their essay as part of the program. And it's just really great to kind of hear what the kids are taking away from it. And you know, the goal is that it's lasting lessons that kids will take with them in their future. And so it was fun to be able to kind of sit back and see how that all works in the community.
My guess would be as well, it's a great partnership between the city and the school districts.
Absolutely.
One of the ways the two of you can work together, because I would guess the schools don't particularly have teachers or staff people that do that type of instruction. So this is an opportunity for you to step in and fill that role.
Yeah, and I think it's an opportunity too to build relationships between the police and the kids. You know, they love these officers that come in and teach this curriculum. And you know, I think for the officers too, it's a really, you know, they can sign up to do this for a couple years or something, and it's a really neat opportunity for them to do kind of something different for a little while. They always get the opportunity to go back to, you know, working regular shift patrol officer stuff in the summer. But it's really neat to see that relationship formed between the officers and the kids. And, you know, that's what you want to do, is build those relationships so that they see the police as somebody who's going to help them and that cares about their future and, you know, really wants them to make good decisions.
Because that might then carry on to middle school and also to high school, which brings us to our next topic, Drug Abuse Prevention Town Meeting. Tell us a little bit about that event that happened again here in January. The chief very involved, and also the Hennepin County Sheriff.
Yeah, so this was a program that was put on, led by Hennepin County. It's really about getting parents and teens talking about drug abuse. And you know, really, when we just finished talking about DARE, it's really kind of a continuation of that program. But I think the purpose of it was to really try to give parents tools to how to talk to their kids and how to keep those lines of communication open. And then conversely, you know, encourage kids to reach out to their parents. And if they know where the resources are, if something pops up as a problem, you know, they're maybe more likely to reach out to somebody and get some help. So Chief Warner has been very supportive of this program. The City Council has been supportive of continuing this type of education in the community, and we encourage the community to get out. I know Hennepin County hosts these events every so often on a particular topic, and they're great. They bring in great resources, and so we encourage the community to get out and attend those.
So maybe opportunities to see more on the city's website or also on the Hennepin County Sheriff's site as well. All right, let's talk water. Cold water at Central Park. Have a little bit of a problem that has occurred there due to freezing pipes. Give us the details of that.
Yeah, so we've had some fire, and now we have water, and not the right kind of water. You know, the water that freezes in the skating loop, that's a great thing.
That's
but
good.
This was unfortunate. So over this cold passage of weather, early or late Monday night into Tuesday morning, we had a water pipe freeze and break in kind of the ceiling of the building, and caused a pretty good amount of water damage there. So right now, the warming house, the pavilion, and the restrooms there are closed while they sort of clean out the building. They have to the goal is to get it dried out as quickly as possible to kind of reduce, you know, the chances of long-term problems. And then maybe by the weekend, try to get things back up and operating. And then, you know, they'll make it through to the spring to do any long-term repairs, because they really don't want to miss the good portion of the season here. So kind of an unfortunate event. Everybody was very sad about it. You know, you have a brand new facility and something like this happens. And you know, the bigger piece is sort of inconveniencing the public that has gotten used to having this facility there now and really enjoys getting out to use it. So the staff is working as quickly as they can to try to get things in place just to open back up for the balance of the season, and then look down the road for the repairs. But yeah, sort of an unfortunate event.
Yes. And as we're taping this, it's the middle of January, so if you're watching this a little bit more into February, don't worry, it didn't happen again, hopefully. It's just the one time here in mid-January, and it should be back up and running. Let's hop to the council meeting. We had a meeting on the Tuesday, January 19th, because of the holiday. Take us through some of the highlights of the agenda.
Sure. So pretty good size agenda for for Maple Grove, so
Right.
that was good. We had a few items. Selling some land to Pulte Homes, kind of at the corner of Weaver Lake and Norwood, just at the end of Main Street there. They're going to pick up and do probably a little bit more townhome or a small lot, single family type development there. So we'll look for something to come through there, and we'll be dealing with that. But that was sort of a land transaction that was approved. We did have some other actions on some land transactions with Three Rivers Park District. So kind of up on the north side in the 610 area, there was a piece of land that the city had a desire to have some of it for some local road connections, some right-of-way, and then Three Rivers Park District needed a portion of the land for some trail connections.
Okay.
So Three Rivers going to acquire the land, and we're going to take a piece of it, and they'll take a piece of it, and so that worked out really well to be able to kind of satisfy both agencies' needs up there.
Will that potentially be for Three Rivers for springtime development, or what is their time frame on this trail connection?
It's a little bit more long-term,
Okay.
I think. Sort of some future planning up there, kind of the Rush Creek area up there. So
Right.
probably a little bit more long-term, but
Okay.
I think the land was available, and we had a desire for a piece of it. It's kind of the making the connection up on the north side there. We're kind of cut. There's a I'm trying to remember the name of the street. If it's Holly Lane, I think that comes down and kind of makes
Okay.
a hard turn. We're going to be rounding that out a little bit because that street will become a little bit more of a collector street
Okay.
once 610 is complete.
Very good.
Yep.
Keeping the process moving.
Yes, absolutely. Some of the other items, we did have some public hearings on a couple new liquor licenses. One was for Chanticleer Pizza Grill, and this is a full liquor license up there. This is actually a new business that's going to be opening up kind of next to Hobby Lobby up
Okay.
on the north side of town up there. And so pretty excited about that one. It's going to be kind of different. I think everybody thinks of Chanticleer as kind of the delivery place. So
Right.
this is going to be more sit down.
Okay.
Restaurant type operation. So
Into an existing building, or are they
Yes.
building a new building?
nope, into some existing tenant space
Okay,
there in
very
that
good.
building. So looking forward to that one. The next one was for India House, and this is actually an existing restaurant.
Right.
They're just adding beer and wine service. So you'll see that one there over at the Fountains.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these places are thinking about adding some outdoor dining space,
Very nice.
but they need to supply the city with plans and whatnot, because those spaces have to be kind of right next to the interior space and have controls and all those kinds of things. So we review those plans and make sure that they've got the proper controls in place for the service of alcohol. So you might be seeing some outdoor service in those areas as
Okay.
well.
They need that snow to go away as well,
We
right?
do. We do.
A little
Yes.
warmer temperatures might be nice.
Yes. So the next item we deal pretty frequently with liquor violations. So this is for compliance checks where our police department is going out and doing these checks and for sale to minors.
Right.
We had a failure. We've had a couple of failures for the December checks that were done. This was for the noodle shop company for doing business as Noodles and Company. And so this was their second violation in a 3-year period, and so they came before the council to deal with that. And I think this issue is really important to the city council and to staff in that we want to make sure that we're not violating liquor licenses by selling to minors. Very much focused on that issue. We talk about the DARE program. We talk about
Right.
the Hennepin County programs. We're really focused on making sure that our liquor license holders are adhering to the laws. And I think the concern is, well, this is the time we did the compliance check, so what's happening when we're not doing the compliance check?
Right.
And so this is a really important element to the liquor licensing process that staff works on. We spend time, we do provide training and
Right.
encourage all their staff to come to the training. We encourage them to do their own training and create their own policies for their business so that they're not, vulnerable to this. But it's really an important piece. And so the council does spend some time talking with them about that and wants to understand what they're going to do to make sure that they've, corrected the situation, followed up with training, and that they have the right staff in place to adhere to that. Another piece on the liquor licensing is starting to track some data on place of last drink. And so when you have sort of alcohol-related incidents, whether it's a DUI or some sort of assault or disorderly type of activity in the
Right.
community, understanding, if they've come from an establishment, are there any patterns there that are happening with some of these establishments that might not be, that might be over serving or not really paying attention to how, what's happening with their customers. And so we want to be aware of that as well. I think it's really important just as a community to make sure that, businesses that have liquor licenses have the right controls in place, and that they're using them. We take it seriously, and so these are important things for us to deal with here in the community.
From a staffing level, because of all the restaurants and establishments like this in Maple Grove,
Yeah.
does it become a bigger staff issue related to the time it takes not only to do these type of sweeps, if you will, through the city, but then on the other end, the training and all that has to take place ahead of time?
Yeah, it's certainly a commitment. It's a commitment, but it's so important just to make sure that those things are done properly. And I certainly have an appreciation for the restaurant businesses. I think they struggle on the labor front as well.
Sure.
In terms of there's more restaurants, and you see some of these ads for employment where they're willing to pay $15 an hour for restaurant staff. So what that tells you is they're having a hard time getting people.
Exactly.
And so I think I think they struggle sometimes from a labor perspective in making sure that they have good quality staff that's been trained and whatnot. So we certainly appreciate and understand that, but at the same time, we just got to make sure that that's being done right. It's really important. So I think, on both sides, it's a commitment.
Does the city get any assistance from larger agencies in the training or in the enforcement? I don't know if the county gets involved in this or the state at any level, or is it city by city has to manage this?
Yeah, it's pretty much city by city.
Okay.
I know our city hosts compliant, trainings for the staff, and we invite all of the establishments in town to have their staff attend. But pretty much in Maple Grove, it's the city of Maple Grove running that. We are sort of the issuer of the licenses in collaboration with the state, but we sort of are responsible for that local control.
So in that case, do cities get together and talk about their rules and their procedures? Because I would guess for a Noodles or other restaurants like that, obviously they have locations in many different cities.
Yep.
I wonder if it gets tough for them at times to go, okay, this one's in Maple Grove, this is the rule there, this one's in Brooklyn Park or Plymouth, that might be the rule there. Have you heard restaurants or businesses discuss that at all, or do you talk to other city administrators about that issue?
Well, I think in terms of service to minors, the rules are the rules,
Right.
and so that's pretty consistent across the board. I think what's different sometimes are the penalties,
Right.
and so how that gets implemented in the
Sure.
community. I know, for Maple Grove, they take it very seriously.
It gets pretty tough, right?
Yeah, and so that just makes, I think, makes the restaurant a little bit more, keen to that issue, and they've got to really pay attention to it. But every city does kind of the same compliance check program. It's just kind of what are the penalties and how swiftly do they deal with it,
Right.
and that kind of a thing.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Well, we certainly have heard over the years from Al Madsen that it is something they take
Yep.
seriously,
Yep.
and that training effort is something that they really want to make sure happens. And the whole world of technology continues to change, and so I'm
Yeah.
sure from your training aspect, it has to be what is the latest way licenses can be read or licenses are presented,
Yep.
and be able to make sure the businesses know that's available.
Well, and the state makes it pretty easy.
Yes,
If you're
they do.
under 21,
Right.
the top of your license says so. And so I think it's just they get busy, and they think they maybe looked and they maybe didn't, or
Right.
they maybe haven't been properly trained to know what am I absolutely looking for.
Exactly.
Because really it's like, don't even look at the date, look at the top of the license first.
Right.
And so I think the state is doing all that they can to try to make that simpler for people. But I think and you see a lot of times in the liquor stores, they'll scan your license.
Exactly, right.
So then it pops up right away. Little bit harder to do in the sit-down restaurants because you're not
Sure.
Standing at the register.
Right.
In the fast casuals, it's an option.
Possibility,
It's
sure.
a possibility there because you're doing your checkout right there when the customer's in front of you.
Right.
So we, in fact, last night talked with them a little bit about, have you considered doing some of those scanner type programs? I know a community I served in previously, we made that a requirement of the off-sale liquor stores that they
Okay.
had to implement sort of that electronic age verification equipment. It's an investment,
Right.
but at the same time, if it can save you from a violation, you know, it might be
Exactly.
worth it.
Okay, so
Yep.
as you see, a very important item in Maple Grove and
Yep.
something we'll talk about again through the
Yes.
council meetings. Let's continue on with the meeting. Any other items that were discussed?
Yeah, you know, we've been dealing with a development proposal of the village at Arbor Lakes. It's kind of, you know, the fourth corner there at the Arbor Lakes and Fountains area, kind of
Right.
that northeast corner of the intersection there. This is a proposal by Kelly Doran. We have kind of gone back and forth a little bit, and they're not necessarily in agreement with some of our policies and some of our ordinances and whatnot. And so the council last night did take action to direct staff to prepare a resolution to deny the PUD development stage plan for this development. Couple of the big components that we're missing are the plat and the dedication of the right-of-way for the project. Those are things that we feel are very important, and they're sort of standard in the development process.
Right.
And so we're hoping over the next few weeks here, we're going to be meeting with the developer and his group next week. We're hoping that maybe we can come to some understanding about, you know, what some of the costs of the development are, and then form a path forward. I think, you know, clearly there's an opportunity for a project there, and I think the project is a good one. It's just kind of coming to an agreement about how the fee structure works and what process they'll need to follow.
So it sounds like after the meeting, they still are at the table or wishing to discuss things.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Okay.
so. They own the property, so they
Right.
have an investment there, and they want to see that, you know, fully developed. So we're committed to continuing those discussions.
Okay, very good. So it might be later on this spring that they might come back to the council?
Yeah, it
or-
could be. It could
Okay.
be. There's no prohibition about if they get denied that they can't come back.
Right.
Some cities have you have to wait a year or something like that, but not on this stage of the plan. So they could come back. So we're open to continuing those discussions.
Okay, very good. We
Yeah.
will keep you updated on that. Any
Yep.
other items from the council meeting?
You know, I
Or
think that
about
kind
does it?
of rounds it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a few minutes in our last few minutes of the program to talk a little bit about your time, obviously, again, being new to the position, trying
Yep.
to get your feel of what's going on, not only out in the community, but also inside your building and the many other buildings that there are in the city.
Yep.
People probably don't understand all of those different spots that a city administrator might have to go to find out, well, what's that building they keep talking about? So you've had a couple trips. Tell us about the community center.
Yeah.
What did you see? What did you find there? What have you learned about that place?
Yeah, so over the last few weeks, just making it a priority to get around to all the departments and meet the staff, and then taking time to kind of tour the facilities and get to understand the operation better. So today, for example, I was over at the community center for quite a while, met all the staff, kind of the full-time staff. That operation employs a lot of part-time staff in terms of the recreational programming and
Right.
you know, the pool and the ice arena and all those kinds of things. But had an opportunity to kind of get a behind-the-scenes tour from Terry Just, which was really good. I think it gives you an appreciation for kind of the mechanical side of those operations,
Sure.
whether it's the ice arena or the pool, the heating and ventilation systems for that facility, because no doubt down the road there will be budget requests that come forward
Right.
for maintenance or replacement of that equipment. So to kind of get in and take a look at that and understand how it operates is a really good opportunity. And just to kind of understand the full scope of services that they're providing from that facility, they have a lot of visitors every year.
Oh, yes.
So the wear and tear on a facility like that is not insignificant.
Right.
And so you sort of have to be planful about it to say, okay, you know, we want to make sure that this always looks nice and that it's well maintained for the community, and so you have to plan for those investments and be thoughtful about it. So it just really helps to get out and see those facilities firsthand.
And I would guess that facility too has a unique role because of any of the city facilities, that might be the one that has the most touch points with residents. Is that
Absolutely.
right? And so that, for a lot of people, is what the city is
Yeah.
in some cases, would you think?
Yeah, I think it's for many, it's kind of their viewpoint of the city.
Right.
You know, it's it's the heart of the community, as they say. You know, versus people don't come hang
Right.
out at City Hall too
No.
much. Right. It's a fun place to be. They're
Of
certainly
course,
welcome to
sure.
do so. But
Right.
you know, the community center has a lot of those things to offer that people enjoy, and I think it's where they bring their kids and they spend time with their family and their friends, and so it's really sort of that face of the community. community. So it's important that we pay attention to it, and they've done a great job over there. You know, they've added on the second sheet of ice. You know, they have expanded some of the programs and offerings from there, and they've done just a really great job with the space that they have.
And the thing that amazes me a lot is that it's all ages. You think of a community center, and you think of the athletic element of it, probably first and foremost, the basketball courts and the ice arena and the swimming. But talk a little bit about the younger people of Maple Grove and the older people of Maple Grove. They obviously fit, and I would guess you heard from the staff that that's very important.
Yep, so we got an opportunity to look at the preschool program and understand a little bit about that. And they, in the Maple Maze area, they added on an area there for the really young kids there to try to attend to that age group as well. So there are programs for the very young, and then of course the senior center portion of the building is very active as well, and they have a lot of programs that they offer in there specifically for the senior populations. You know, they have the card clubs and those kinds of things, but they also have the computer center, those kinds of classes, as well as some fitness things, and then just, you know, general arts and those kinds of programs as well. So pretty well-rounded offering. And then in the middle, the teen center, which is a great asset. And I guess I was kind of surprised to learn that some of the services there, you don't necessarily have to be a member, but if you're a resident, you can take advantage of those things, and that applies to the teen center. What a great place for, you know, the youth of the community to have a place, a safe place to come and gather that, you know, mom and dad don't necessarily have to worry so much about what's going on there, and it you know, good recreation opportunities for the kids.
So from that building where you go in all the time to a building you probably would never get into is the Public Works building. Tell us a little bit about your tour there and meeting with that staff.
Yeah, so same opportunity to get out and meet all the staff. They typically have a department meeting that I've come to attend and get to meet everybody there. But then I, you know, have the opportunity to kind of stay and listen to what they're working on, get an update from each of the departments or the areas within the department, and then tour the facility. So I have had an opportunity to be out kind of in the garage area because I've been out doing when we've had a snow event and that kind of a thing. But this was an opportunity to kind of get to meet all the office staff and see all the different areas of the operation. So again, it's, you know, when budget discussions come up or operational issues come up, it's just really good to have that perspective, to have been there and met the staff and kind of understand what they're working on.
So the big question is, did they let you drive a plow?
No.
No plow driving allowed?
No.
Or no, the front loader to dump salt in the back of a truck? They said maybe not this time, Heidi?
Not yet, not yet.
Couple more years, right, you'll advance to that level.
Right, those are some pretty big pieces of equipment. I think I'll shy away from that for a bit. We'll let the experts do that.
Pretty impressive facility. Did you get to the museum part of that building as well?
You know, not into the public space of it. They weren't there at the time, but did get to kind of see in from the public works side of it. And then they do have some areas where they keep some of the artifacts that they don't have on display, and so I got to see some of that. So I still need to get over there when they're up and operating. But yeah, I kind of got a glimpse of their operation there.
So that's the one wing of the building you might get to go into, and they certainly will encourage you to take a look at that, and they're always looking for volunteers as well. Heidi, thank you very much again for your time. Appreciate you coming in, giving us the update. The next meeting is going to be February 1st, so we see that date on the schedule. Maple Grove website on the top of the screen, all of that information about many of the things we mentioned, including that bus route, which is very topical now. You can find on the website. Next meeting again, 7:30 at the Government Center. 494-6000 is the phone number, and our viewer response line is 533-1710. If you have a question or comment for the program, certainly send those in, and we'll try to answer them here. For Heidi Nielsen, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.